All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy CMB checking in. And guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about the aftermath that's been going on in the media, in the boxing space since the loss, Jake Paul lost to Anthony Joshua. And it's, it's been pretty crazy out here on social media, guys. Um, you guys know Anthony Joshua not only stopped Jake Paul in the sixth round, but we found out that he broke his jaw in two places. Ouch. He broke his jaw in two places. And so now we know that the fight was a real fight. But, I saw times in the fight where Joshua kind of held back. I talked about this in my post fight reaction that, he could have ended this sooner by just simply cutting off the ring, and he didn't do that. So my thing is maybe they wanted to entertain the fans a little bit before Joshua did the real damage that he did to Jake Paul. So yeah, it was a real fight, but it was times in the fight where Joshua held back. Now you guys have seen it and heard it all since the fight. The memes, the videos. They even got AI videos now of Jake Paul, just making fun of Jake Paul. And you guys know that comes with the territory. People who in the boxing space, we know that when you lose a fight, when you get knocked out, people are just gonna make fun of you. And it just depends on how thick the fighter's skin is. Some fighters can deal with it, some fighters can't. And it seems like Jake Paul's taking it all in stride. But I want to talk more about the hate that Jake Paul receives. And is it justified? Now, let me say this, because I'm not a fan of Jake Paul. Believe it or not, I'm not a fan of Jake Paul. I think some of the things he does is cringe. But I don't think that, he deserves the hate that he's getting because he's an opportunist. He's an opportunist, but someone had to put him in that position to legitimize him. I think we're directing the hate towards the wrong people. People put him in that position. Promoters like Eddie Hearn put Jake Paul in a position like that, legitimizing him. These platforms legitimize him, knowing that, he was just a novice. He's not really a real fighter. But people made like he was a real fighter. They put him on these cards. They made him headline these cards. He maneuvered his way into this sport, and became, bigger than a lot of these fighters out here. He was already huge in the social media spot, but they made it like, he's something special when it comes to the sport of boxing. Even some of these fighters out here, they put Jake Paul in this position to be respected somewhat in the sport of boxing. I don't respect what he does as a fighter, but this is what they've done. You have these guys who've been in this sport for years, and they're chasing a Jake Paul fight. It boggles my mind. And people hate Jake Paul for that. So should the hate be directed towards him? Not necessarily. Sure, he's an a-hole. We all know that. But people had to put him in that position to elevate him to where, he's on Netflix headlining a boxing card. I mean, make it make sense. So I don't think, I get it in a sense where people don't like Jake Paul. They don't like what he's done, and they're happy that he got knocked out. But is it really his fault that, he made his way into the sport of boxing and made it almost like a circus and got these big name fighters chasing after him? Guys like Gervonta Tank Davis, Anthony Joshua. And people are treating Anthony Joshua like he destroyed, one of the best heavyweights on the planet. And it's just Jake Paul. It's just a novice. It's just a YouTuber that he fought. It's not like, Joshua went in there and destroyed Alexander Usyk or Daniel Dubois, two guys that beat Anthony Joshua, but he's being praised like he's done something so great. And the reason he's being praised like that, because the powers that be, the people behind Jake Paul, the boxing press, the boxing media, the promoters, they put Jake Paul in that position. So who should we be mad at? Jake Paul or the people that created that monster, Jake Paul? But I just wanted to talk about that. I just wanted to get my 2 cents on that because I see, you know, like I said, I see a lot of people directing the hate towards Jake Paul. They're saying he's the great white hope. But who put him in the position, guys? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.